Hi everybody, this is your practice problems video for segment addition. I'm going to do the first two here and just talk you straight through them. And then I would advise that you pause the video after that and try the second two here, 5 and 6, even if you're just drawing the picture to make sure that you're doing it the right way. Right, to give yourself a chance to practice without hearing it from me first, right? See if you're kind of getting it and getting it right. Okay, so these get harder as you go down as we go down the list, right? The first one is definitely the easiest one, and 5 and 6 are a little bit more challenging. So let's look at number 3 here. So this says if Q is between A and M. So very first thing I'm going to do, whoops. I didn't draw that very well. Let's try that again. Okay, very first thing that you should do is draw a picture, even if it seems like really silly, right? Especially when you're first starting out with these. Okay, it does not have to be beautiful or perfect, right? But it's going to help you put things in the right spots. Okay, so they said Q is between A and M. I don't know exactly where Q is. It's just somewhere in between, so I just stuck it somewhere. They said MQ is 7.3. So that's a part, it goes at the top. Okay, and then AM, which is the whole thing, is 8.5. And they want to know what QA is, right? So I just need to do some subtraction here, right? Right, because I have X plus 7.3 has to equal 8.5, right? That's part plus part equals whole. I'm just going to subtract 7.3 from both sides. So I get that X is equal to 1.2. And that's it. Okay, that's my answer. All right. Okay, let's look at number 4 here. This one's a little bit trickier because it's dealing with some expressions. This says K is between H and J. All right, so let's go ahead and draw that. So I have H and J are my endpoints. And just for fun, let's put K over here this time. Okay, so they said, let me change my color so we can see a little better. Okay, so they said HK is 2x minus 5. So 2x minus 5, that's one of the parts. KJ is 3x plus 4. And HJ, which is the whole thing, is 24. All right, so remember the rule here, what segment addition postulate is it's part plus part equals whole at the bottom. So let's go ahead and write that out. So I have 2x minus 5 plus 3x plus 4 equals 24, right? And then once you get to this point, you've done all the geometry. Once you've used the diagram to write the equation, you've done all the geometry. Now it's just your algebra skills. So we're going to combine our like terms, right? I have 2x and 3x, and I have minus 5 and plus 4. So I have 5x minus 1 equals 24. Okay, then I'm going to add 1 to both sides to cancel that out. Draw my arrow here so we can continue. We have 5x equals 25. And then I'm going to divide by 5, divide by 5. And I get that x is equal to 5. All right, so very last thing, I need to go back up to the question to make sure I answered the question, okay? And I did here, see, because this question was, what was the value of x? I found the value of x, so I'm done, smiley face, okay? But sometimes these questions will ask things like, well, what is HK then? Right, so they want to know how long this segment is. So in order to figure that out, I have to plug x back in to solve, right? Plug x back in and simplify. Okay, the reason I bring that up is because that's exactly what you have to do in the next one, all right? So what I would do now is pause the video, okay, and see if you can do number 5 at the very least. Try number 5 on your own, okay? And then I'm going to write some stuff on my screen, and I'll see you back here in a second. Let's see if you got it right. So try number 5 on your own. Remember, draw the diagram first, keeping in mind that this is a midpoint problem. So that means the two parts are going to be equal to each other. All right, so that's your hint for this one. So I will see you back here in a second. Let's see if you got this one right. One more thing, y'all. Sorry, I forgot to point out. This is a typo. So K is the midpoint of HJ. Apologies. K is the midpoint of HJ. It's wrong on my copy, but it might be right on your copy. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so give this problem a try, and then I'll see you back here in a second for you to check your answer. All right, y'all, so here's number 5 all worked out for you. So I drew the diagram first, right here on the left, okay? So I put in the information that I knew, okay? So I knew that HK was x plus 6, so I put that in, right? I put that in first, right? The HK is x plus 6, and then they said HJ was 4x minus 6, so that's the whole at the bottom, and I didn't know what this was, all right? I didn't know what that was because they didn't tell me, but they did tell me that K is the midpoint, meaning that these two things, HK and KJ, have to be equal. So if one of them is x plus 6, then the other has to also be x plus 6, all right? And once I know that, now I have everything I need for part plus part equals whole, right? Part plus part equals whole down here, which is exactly what I did next, okay? Right here. That arrow is terrible. Oh, well, okay? So that's exactly what I did next. So you have part plus part equals whole, right? So I combined my like terms on the left-hand side. So I have x plus x is 2x, 6 plus 6 is 12. I subtracted 2x from both sides, right? Because now I want to get all the x's on one side of the equal sign and all of my numbers on the other side of the equal sign, right? That's the goal. It doesn't matter which one you deal with first. I typically deal with the variables first, and I try to make it so that the variable has a positive number in front instead of a negative number. Just helps me keep track a little bit easier. Okay, so I subtracted 2x from both sides, added 6 to both sides, got 2x equals 18, so x is equal to 9. Now, in the last problem that we did, that's where we stopped when we got to what x was equal to. But you have to go back to the question and see what they're actually asking for. In the question, they said kj equals what? I'm not done yet, okay? All I know is x. I don't know what kj is yet. I'm not done yet. So what I have to do is plug my x value in to kj. So from my drawing, I know that kj is x plus 6. So instead of putting, wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a 9, because now I know that x is 9, right? So kj equals 9 plus 6, which is 15. And now I can say that I'm done, okay? All right, so for this last problem, right, I'm going to scroll a little bit and draw some stuff here. But what I want you to notice here is that for this one, they don't give you the whole thing, okay? We're still dealing with a midpoint problem, okay, which is good, right? We're still dealing with the midpoint here. Okay, but this time you have the two parts, right? You have PQ and QR. But remember that the parts are equal, okay? So if they give you the two parts and they are different expressions, right, those expressions have to be equal, okay? So that's my hint for you to try this one on your own, all right? So give this a try on your own. I'm going to write some stuff out, and I will see you back here in just a second. All right, folks, so here is the breakdown for you of how you would solve number 6. So check your answer and see how you did, okay? So in my drawing here, I have, right, oops, hold on. I have Q is the midpoint of PR. So I have PR and then Q is here in the middle. Okay, I tried to make it look like it was actually in the middle. They said PQ is 4x minus 5, right? So right here, QR is 11 plus 2x, and that's all the information that they gave me. Normally, I would think to myself, well, wait, don't I need a part down here, or a whole, sorry, down here at the bottom, okay? The only reason I don't need that for this is because I have two different expressions, right? I have two completely different expressions, this one, and I'm dealing with a midpoint. Okay, that's the only time that you can do this, where you set these equal to each other. Okay, so you can only do that when you have two different expressions and you're dealing with a midpoint, either a midpoint or an angle bisector. Okay, if it's just two random parts, they might be different lengths, so we don't know if they're the same. It has to have that magic word midpoint right there. So I went ahead, this isn't part plus part equals whole, this is part equals part. Okay, so I have 4x minus 5 equals 11 plus 2x. And I went through and I solved that. I did some algebra. Now, one thing that I did on this one that I didn't do in the others, just because I had some more space, I don't know if any of your algebra teachers did this, but when I was taught algebra, my teachers taught me to draw a line kind of through the equal sign, so that way I would be sure that I did whatever I did to one side, I would do to the other, so that I wouldn't accidentally put like another 2x, like minus 2x right here, for example, right? I don't want to do that because they're on the same side of the line, right? The same side of the equals sign. Okay, so that's why I did it this way this time, just to show you another way that you can go through and solve these if you want. Okay, so I did minus 2x on both sides, and then I did plus 5 on both sides. So then I got 2x equals 16 and divided and got x is equal to 8. But again, we're not done, because if you go back up to the actual question, it was find PQ, QR, and PR. So I have to plug in my values. Right? I have to plug in what I got for x into PQ and QR. Okay, so that's what I did right here. Okay, I got that x was equal to 8, so PQ was 4x minus 5. Right, so wherever I saw an x, I put an 8. So 4 times 8 is 32, minus 5 is 27. Now, you could do the same thing for QR. You could say QR equals 11 plus 2 times 8. But you would get 27, which makes sense because this is a midpoint, right? Remember, those two have to be the same. So if PQ is 27, then QR has to also be 27, okay? And then PR is the whole thing. So this is where you use your part plus part equals whole. That's where that comes back in, right? So I have 27 plus 27, which is 54. Or you could have done 2 times 27 because there's 2 of them, and you would have gotten the same answer. All right, you all, so that is it for this video with practice problems for segment addition. I will see you in the next video for angle addition. Bye, everybody.